In this video, I'll show you how to balance dialogue and background music along with a couple of bonus tips that hopefully will improve the quality of your videos. Now, the first step is to start with a nice and clear sounding dialogue track. So I suggest that we start with adding some EQ and compression to your dialogue track before we even start playing around with any type of background music. And I've made 2 videos on how to add both EQ and compression using very simple and free plugins, much easier to use than the ones that usually comes with your editing software. I'll link both of those at the end of this video. So I won't go into detail, but here's just a quick recap on what I usually do before I pick and add any music. Just like so. Okay, boom. Now, go to your music track and add a parametric EQ. Put one point at 1250 Hz and one point at 5000. Now, set the Q value to 1 or even 0.5 and drag those points down to -5 or -8 dB. You might need to set them lower, but -5 to 8 is a good starting point. And it won't ruin the music completely if you want to use it in breaks in your dialogue, like I've done here. So we've got the level at -27 dB during the dialogue, and then we've got some graphics over here, and the level goes up to -11.8 dB before it's brought back down to 27 again. And that's step 1. We could leave it there, but let's make it even better. Now, add a compressor to that track. I like to use the free FR87, but let's start with the stock Adobe Tube compressor. It works fine and it's fairly simple to use. I'll show you the FR87 in just a second. Now, set the threshold to -25-ish. Set your output to around 2. Ratio, let's do 3 and let's skip the attack. Now set the release to something high. 2000 is probably good enough. Now fine tune the threshold and the output volume to get the level to sit somewhere around -24 dB. And that should do it. So what we've done, we've actually removed or lowered some of the frequencies in the music that are competing with the frequencies of our voice, giving our voice almost all of that frequency space. And the compressor on the music track adds additional separation as it makes the music less dynamic and less ear-catching. Now let's look at the FR87. It's by far one of my favorite compressors to use for these kind of things because it's so simple and easy to use. So let's load it up and set the threshold to -25 and leave the attack at fast and set the release to slow and set the makeup to about 5. And then just dial the threshold until our level sits somewhere around -24 dB. And that's it. Now, as I mentioned before, I made dedicated videos on the FR87 compressor as well as the PT-EQX equalizer. So I suggest that you go and take a look at both of those videos after this one if you want to improve the sound quality of your videos even further. Now, for some additional tips and tricks when it comes to background music and dialogue, tip number 1. You can use drum loops or other types of instrumental loops instead of music. Looperman.com and freeloops.com offers a bunch of free loops that works perfect as background. In fact, we've got one of those loops in the background right now. So, tip number 2. Check the levels in both headphones and most of all speakers. It's much easier to gauge if the levels are right listening through speakers. Tip number 3. So setting your levels should be done at normal listening volume. If you're working somewhere where there's a lot of noise and things going around and you have your headphones cranked up to 11, chances are that you will mix your dialogue a bit too low. Now, that's it for this one. I hope this video was helpful, and please don't forget to check out the other 2 videos. I'll link them after this one here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!